Hey, I'm Katy Miller, a course creation coach and social media strategist navigating business, motherhood, and life while calling BS along the way. If you are tired of the overwhelming amount of information we have access to these days and are confused about where to even begin, you're in the right place. Join me as I talk with small business owners to sort it all out and give some tips to move your business forward. Welcome back to another episode of Katy Calls BS. I am excited about this episode. I've been excited about this series. Today we are going to talk about when you launch. If you just launched and you feel like you have to keep going after that launch, or if you're in a successful season and you have to ride that momentum, what do? When you launch a new offer, you have a big rollout and there's this big push. You post a ton, you email your list, and at the end of it, you're just exhausted. And that's never been something I understood or felt like was necessary in business. I know that a lot goes into launches. That's kind of why I created the Lazy Launch Guide, not because of being lazy, but because I don't think you have to recover from your launch. I think there's another way to do it. But when you have these launches or you have a big push of something and it goes really well, we fall into this idea that you have to ride the momentum. You have to capitalize on the launch. Oh, that launch went really well. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep pushing because I have a lot of people. I have a lot of eyes on my stuff. Let's keep going. The same happens when you're doing really well in business. Things are going really well. You want to take advantage of it. And the first thought is to create a new offer, launch something new, go for more. But it's BS, all BS. You don't have to capitalize on the launch. You don't have to ride the momentum and keep pushing. You might even think that digital products don't make sense because you're doing so well. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Here's why it's BS. If you are hustling, which I don't like that word, but if you are hustling post-launch without a break, that is your fast track to burnout. That is exactly how we get to burnout. If you just launched something, whether you pushed and worked really hard and are exhausted and took the more relaxed approach, either way, it's a lot to launch something. We know that because you're just putting yourself out there more and more and more and more. What I tell my clients is if you're sick of talking about it, then you're doing it right. When you move straight into work mode after that to carry that momentum, what do you think is going to happen? We go from launch to work and launch to work and launch to work without a break. That's burnout. You're going to burn out. That's exactly what's going to happen. I say that because I've done it. I know exactly why it's going to happen. But that momentum is not something you should be chasing. You shouldn't be chasing momentum. Like, oh, we need to get to that momentum. We need to build momentum. We need to do this. We need to do this. It's something you design. We're not trying to chase momentum. Because when you chase that momentum, or when you are trying to capitalize after a launch, or when you're in a successful season, that's when you're reactive instead of strategic. When we get reactive, our audience gets confused. Then you start creating offers. We start creating like new things. We jump on this chance. We're like, what do I need to create? What do I need to throw out there now? And our audience is thinking, what are they doing? What's happening right now? I don't know what they're doing. What should I buy? What is the offer? What are we doing? They get confused. We get confused. We don't know what we're talking about anymore. It's not good for anyone. So what we're trying to do now is trying to design our businesses for momentum. We can build that in a few ways. And I'll tell you one way that it's not is moving from a launch to massive amounts of work into another launch and more work. That's not how you do it. When you have a creative business, like many of us do, you have to leave space for creativity. When we don't leave space for that creativity, for the ideas to come, for that next move, the next product, the next right step, sometimes the creative step has nothing to do with your business, but it's what you need for your business. When you can leave that room for yourself to be creative, your business is going to thrive. It doesn't make sense. I can't explain it. There's probably science behind it. But when you can step away from your business and go do things that make you outside of your business, because it's not our whole world, it's not what makes us us. If you think about people who go to a corporate job, that is not their whole personality. Our small business is not our whole personality. So if you go have other interests, it'll make you a more well-rounded person. I can guarantee you that's when the ideas will pop up when you're in the garden or when you're like knitting something. I don't know, whatever your hobby is. When you're cooking and you're going to have some idea come into your brain like, oh, you know what? I should do that. Random, nothing to do with your business. It's just when you are able to let your brain relax a little bit It goes back to not working 24/7 just because you're an entrepreneur. I have a whole episode on that I'll share in the show notes. What else are you interested in? Explore those outside of life's responsibilities, outside of the business responsibilities that you have, because there's a lot of those. We all know that. What else can you do and are interested in that allow you to just step away from those things or turn your brain off for a minute? Because that's when you can let the creative ideas in. If you're in a successful season, not after a launch, but maybe your client roster is full, you're feeling good about where you are, just because you're making money now doesn't mean it's sustainable, because there's making money and there's sustainable. The goal is to make money in a sustainable way. And you've had offers that make you a ton of money, but they're not your favorite thing. Or the clients that you've worked with that maybe were your high ticket offer and they came in on your high ticket offer, but they weren't your favorite clients. You did it because it was a high ticket offer and it was income. What happens when you burn out on that offer? Do you keep offering it just because it's the high ticket offer, but you don't really love it? You don't really love doing it anymore? Do you keep offering it? No, you get to design that. You get to decide what your business is. Just because the money is coming in, I know we love that. I do too. But you have to think about when you burn out on that offer and you don't actually enjoy doing it, why keep doing it? This happened to me with Reels. When I was a social media strategist, I grew quickly with Reels, created a mini course about Reels, but I started to get annoyed. That was part of my business and it was running everything. It wasn't what I wanted to be known for. It was fun while it lasted, had a great time, really enjoyed what I was doing, loved the people that I was working with. I loved my course that I created, obviously, because that's what I do. But I didn't want it to be my main offer. I didn't want it to be the thing that was my whole business. That's where the clients were, and that's where the money was coming in. Do I shut it down or do I ride the wave? And at the time, I was riding the wave. This is great. This is working. Let me do this. Maybe this is what I do. So I rode the wave for a little bit, but when I started creating offers based on that wave, that's when it was not aligned to what I wanted. Burnout happened. Again, when you think about it, every successful business needs a buffer of some sort. You need to be able to create that buffer so you can have that downtime. You know what I'm going to say. I'm going to tell you that digital products are the buffer, right? Because you've been around here for a minute. So that's what I'm going to say. You have to decide what the buffer is, what the backup's going to be. It's not 500 backups, and you can't just toss them out and hope something works. You have to diversify your business enough to meet your clients' needs. The best thing to test that are digital products, because they're support, they're reinforcement for your higher ticket offers, and they're reinforcement for your expertise. What can you do in the busy seasons, in the post-launches, or when things are going really well and you don't think you need a digital product? Because I know there's going to be someone listening and they're like, I'm doing great. I don't need this. Here's what you can do. Start with something that's going to be easy to create instead of starting from scratch. I don't think anybody should start from scratch because you already have a million things in your business and we don't have time for that. I always recommend using what you have and looking at what you have. The first thing is do something related to the launch that you just had. If you're coming out of a launch, do something related to that. For coaches, this could be like a low-cost offer behind the scenes of what worked and what didn't work for that launch. People are always looking for that, especially if you're a coach. Why did it work or why didn't it work? Share that. Talk about that. Do a breakdown of something. You could do a swipe file or a template bundle that ties into the offer that you just launched. So we have lead-ins that go into our offer, but you could do something related to the offer that you just had and have it be something separate, or pull it out from the offer that you had. Template bundle could look like here we had, or swipe files, whatever you want to do. If you want to have just Google Docs, there's a way to make your Google Docs so that people have to make a copy of them, then they won't ruin your templates. This is all it is. You're just making templates for people. These are things you probably already have. Literally, that's what people want. They just want to know how to do something. That's it. The next is a mini intro or tutorial or training that relates to whatever you just launched. So I'll say for me, if I'm launching a how to build a course, mini intro or tutorial or training that I could do would be, let's nail down your course idea, because that's something they're going to need to know before they take the course. Let's make sure you have that solid. I would do mini training on that, maybe a 5-10 minute training on making sure they have their course idea ready to go. Then that could be a standalone product, but it also leads into the offer that I just launched. For those that are in a successful season, if you feel you didn't come out of the launch, but you feel like your business is doing really well, you're like, I don't have time for this, Katy. I don't have time to create a digital product. Turn your most used client onboarding document into a product. You have it done already. Add a Loom video. That's real quick, explaining how to use it. If you have clients fill out a questionnaire that gives you a lot of information, have an explainer. The video, your Loom video, could then say, okay, when you fill out this questionnaire, here's what the question, or here's what your answers are going to tell you. There's a standalone product. You've just made it a standalone for people who now maybe they want to figure out their branding, or maybe they need to know what to do for a branding photo shoot, or maybe they need to know how to set up a website or an about page or their copy, or maybe they need to know what to do for the outline of a course. Maybe they need to know all the things. Or what do they need to know about setting up if they're like VAs and OBMs? Maybe they need to know how to set up their systems. Okay, here's how to organize your systems. Here's what you're going to do. Here's what I need you to know about streamlining your systems. That's easy, okay? You're going to take inventory of your systems. Next, what do I do? Here's your next steps. Standalone product, but it also leads into working with you potentially. The next is a checklist. I love a checklist because 1, everybody loves a checklist. 2, it can be used in a million different ways. Checklist with your must-haves related to your industry. You could use this for launch checklist, brand shoot checklist, website checklist. What do I need to know about my branding? Job interview, wardrobe refresh, meal prep must-haves. This could be used for pretty much any industry. Another one is think about what you would want someone to know before working with you. Can you turn that into a digital product? So again, this is like the pre-qualifying questionnaire. The majority of people want to try out working with you first. Give them that option with a digital product. What is it like to work with you? What value do I get? Give them that option. Thinking about this, what is it like to work with you? Well, think about that onboarding things. If I can do some of the pre-work first, give that to them. Then when they come to you and say, okay, well, I got your free product, or I got this $17 thing and I filled it out, but I don't know what to do next. It was really helpful. I did all the things, but now I have questions. Well, great. You've already done that work. Let's move into the next step, and now we can move on to the deeper stuff. You've already done step 1 for them. You can now go into the good stuff, the meaty stuff that we all love to do. I need you to think about digital products as the way to extend your impact while you rest. This is what you use as your buffer in between launches and in your successful season. It's not adding to your plate. Putting these systems in place gives you permission to pause without disappearing after a launch. You also get to give options during your thriving season, which sets you up for that long-term momentum because we're building it. Here's what I want you to do today. If you got some ideas that got your wheels turning, I want you to audit your last 5 client wins. What was the repeatable solution? Think about 3 low-lift assets that you already have that could be packaged and sold. They might have to be repackaged and tweaked a little bit. But what do you have already? Checklists, onboarding, offboarding, any worksheets you have for work with clients, any templates you have, any how-to tutorials that you have, any Loom videos you create, any things like that you have. Those are all low lift assets. I want you to set a 7-day, no pressure product goal. You can wait until your kids go back to school, because around here in Texas, they go back to school this week. When they go back to school, you can wait till that, but set a 1-week, no pressure product goal. I want you to outline it. I want you to create it, see what you have to tweak on it in your creation, because you're not starting from scratch. And I want you to set up a selling plan. This is not a launch plan. This is a selling plan. You're not launching it. You're just getting it ready. I'm going to close this out with a little reminder for you. I've said this so many times over the years, but we did not start our businesses to be miserable. If you are feeling overwhelmed and miserable, you need to take a break. We did not start our businesses to be miserable. You get to decide how to do this, how to show up, what success looks like, what a day looks like, what it should feel like, how much money you want to make. If you ever feel like you have to push after a launch or you have to ride the momentum, you don't. You get to decide all of this. You don't need more pressure. You need a product, or you need something that buys back your energy. You need a break. I will tell you all day long that you have everything you need for your business. I remind myself of this daily. We just need to find it. It's all there. You don't have to create new things. You don't have to go looking for something else. You don't have to go find something else. You're not lost. It's all there. We just have to find it. Whether it's in your files or in your brain, we just have to find it. The digital products are there already. They're in your head, they're on your computer, they're in your products. But first, rest a little bit, especially with this back to school season. Rest a hot second, recover from summer, and then we can talk about them. I'll be here when you're ready to talk about them. But until then, have an amazing day. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Katy Calls BS. You can find more information about our guest and Katy in the show notes below. Be sure to subscribe, share, and review, and don't forget to tag us.